We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien for our weekly 3 and Out. 3 stories, sports stories usually. That's what they are today. And we got to start, Jeff, with Shadeur Sanders, the greatest slide in the history of the NFL. The number 144 is where he went, 5th round, and he was thinking could be the top pick overall. But this guy, I mean, you know how his dad, brash and arrogant. This kid may be the biggest word can I come up with that I can say on public radio without offending the kids? Let's just go with jerk, the biggest jerk to come down the pike in the NFL draft. I mean, he might have the arrogance of Johnny Manziel. That might be a good comparison, but coaches and scouts are saying they've never dealt with someone who came into the room and had such a bad interview. I mean, he wore his headphones in some of the interviews.
Yeah. No, I've heard a lot of different things. You know, immediately some of the commentators start screaming racism, and I'm like, the first pick in the overall in the draft was a black quarterback, so I'm not going to buy that. And then this comparing it to Eli Manning, and I'm like, the Mannings got criticism for that whole with the shenanigans. They weren't going to, he wasn't going to play in San Diego and stuff. But here's what I think is going on, Bob, and I don't, I kind of look at it less of about not so much him, Shadeur, as Dion, and here's why. Dion is such a public figure, and we all know is very outspoken. I mean, I've seen X posts where he was fighting with people and saying the kid was a top 5 pick, and this is a while ago, right? So, what coach or GM is going to want to basically sign their own death warrant by picking him, having it not go the way that Dion thinks it should go, and then have him out publicly criticizing because the team didn't give him this or that, or and basically throwing the team under the bus. I think a lot of groups just said we don't want that distraction, and we don't want to have that risk. Well, I mean, the kid gets his own. He's saying that he has his own draft room built. Like you said, the word I keep hearing is how entitled they feel.
Yeah, but I think the kid just comes off like a jerk. And by the way, he's not going to get the big money he thought, and he may have trouble paying off that Mercedes that's going to get repossessed because he's behind on payments on his Mercedes. The kid, not Dion. Yeah. Dion, why don't you step up and give your kid some dough? Or maybe he could sell that jersey that he got retired. Make some money off of that. Ridiculous.
I read somewhere, this is a good lesson. So he came out he declared as a junior.
Yeah.
As I understand it, he was making $5.1 million a year in NIL money.
Make more money doing that than not where he was picked.
The deal he's signing now is what? It's like a 4 or 5 year deal, whatever the multi-year deal, for a total of $5.2 million.
And you know what? Whatever endorsements he had, they're drying up because they don't want to touch this kid. And the fact that was the second quarterback that Cleveland took is even more of an indication of nobody really. Yeah, he is a radioactive, right now. Nobody wants to go near him. All right, item 2, Mel Kiper, the draft guru, his meltdown. Now, this is nothing new. The meltdown he had was the worst he's ever had. But he goes nuts if a team doesn't take the guy he said they should take. He's done it over the years. I mean, I knew Mel back when they were at Radio City Music Hall in the 80s, and he was just it was him and Joel Bucksbaum. Do you remember that name at all? Joel was a whiz, but Joel was not very photogenic. He was a guy that had the glasses on, and he didn't have, like some people have, like the librarian thing for their glasses. He had a piece of tape, and it sucked the glasses right into his eyeball. And he was just a very high-strung young man at the time. Sadly, he passed away, a number of years ago. But he was on 1 year with Kiper, and that was the end of it. And Kiper became, ESPN's guy. But he may have cost himself his career because you don't call the NFL clueless and get away with it.
No, you don't. I don't understand it. This is a guy that, what was it? Was it the Colts that he disagreed with the draft pick years ago? And
yes, I think it was.
Said, this guy's never played a down of football. I don't know who this guy is. They just kind of went after him. yeah, and it was all over this Shadeur Sanders thing. I mean, he was all high on him, thinking he should be a top 5 pick as well. It's like, this is one heck of a hill to die on.
But you know what it shows, though? He is not connected, as he tries to portray himself, with NFL teams, because someone would have said, hey, he's going to slide. So he needed, and he didn't, no one called him and said, here's why he's sliding. Because he could have given an explanation, say, look, I've been hearing from people, but he never does, I've been hearing from teams. No. He thinks he does everything on his own, and he doesn't want any of that help. So, all right, now, item 3, we're going to talk about the Wild and the Wolves. 43 points by Anthony Edwards. Now, I've made it clear, I am not a fan of Anthony Edwards as an individual. I don't like the way he's treated some of these women. Now, he's, the one I'm talking about, one woman who sent him the text and he said get an abortion because she was pregnant. And is it the same one who he paid off in total for the child support? I mean, he paid off the entire 18 years. Is that the same woman, or is it a different one?
No, I think it is.
Okay, but to do that too, I mean, first of all, that was a money grab. She should have insisted. I mean, look how much more money she could have made had she waited, because his career, he's going to make a lot of money in his career. So that was, his representatives cut a hell of a deal for, to pay it off all at once. But to do stuff like that, you have no interest in meeting the kid, your kid. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of him. But I will say, he is an incredibly talented player. He's not so talented. Player, absolutely. And this could be his coming out party. And when I say that, coming out to really at the end of the playoffs, they could be saying, he is, this generation's Michael Jordan, because what he did yesterday was unbelievable. I mean,
it's interesting. I've been tracking, watching both the NBA and the NHL team in town on their playoff runs, and both the Wild and the Wolves came into this weekend being up in the series 2-1, and there was that critical fourth game, and the Wild came up short, and now I think momentum has shifted back to Vegas. But with the Wolves,
but it took overtime. I mean, it's not over.
It isn't over. But the question is, how do they respond coming out of this? Now they're back in Vegas. Is Vegas going to be able to sustain this, or are they going to slump back to where they had been in this series? On the Wolves side, though, the Wolves just keep rolling. I mean, they have, and some of these games, they're coming back.
Well, they're down 10,
down and
down 10, and they came back, and it was. I mean, it was very impressive what they were able to do. And I mean, the problem, everybody thought, they've got Luka Doncic, and you put him and LeBron. It's the two of them. That's it. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you have the guy that everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people say, he's better than Jordan. And you got Luka Doncic, who's clearly one of the best players in the league. Why one of them didn't take the final shot is beyond me. It's not like you couldn't get it to one guy. I think Doncic took the ball down, got it to LeBron, and LeBron passed it off. I mean, I don't care if this guy's on you. You're the guy. Both of you. You're the guy.
And as I'll say this, as for the comparisons to Jordan, whether it be Edwards or LeBron or whoever, I always think of the line, if you've seen the movie Bad Teacher, when they said when he's arguing with the kid and they're arguing over LeBron and Jordan, and the kid's like, LeBron's a better rebounder and passer, and he's like, call me when LeBron's won 6 championships. He goes, that's your argument? He goes, it's the only argument I need.
It is the only argument you need, which can also lend to the argument, because LeBron, greatest player, Jordan. But did he win half as many championships roughly than the former center for the Boston Celtics? So I mean, that's when you start looking at it of how many did somebody else win? So anyway, all right, Attorney Jeff O'Brien with our 3 and Out. Thanks so much. Take a quick break. The BS Show will be right